hey crafty cuties. Today we are going to be making some spring tags with gold edges. I hope that you are ready to pull out your watercolors and your gold embossing powder. Let's go. So here's everything you're going to need. You are going to need some tags, of course. I took some watercolor paper and I cut it down to 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches and I cut the corners off. So that's just easy to do by yourself. I will go ahead and cut a hole when I'm all done with watercolors. And then you're going to need some watercolors. I'm using my Prima watercolors here. And then you're going to need either some gold embossing powder, or you can use like a gold paint pen or a gold watercolor for the gold edges. But I guarantee if you guys try this technique with the gold embossing powder and your embossing ink, you're going to love it. It is way better and such a different look than just the gold paint pens, and I promise it's worth the extra little effort because it does take a little bit more time to do. But we're just gonna hop right in, and I don't know how much of a tutorial this is. I'm basically just going to show you how I like to make my little flowers, and yeah, we're just gonna craft together. So I have my little water here. So we're gonna watercolor a couple of them and then we'll do the gold embossing afterwards. So to start out, I am just going to do some little pink flowers, and I keep this very simple. For the flowers, I literally like to do little squiggly circles, and then I color them in. And I'm gonna go ahead and do just a few of those kind of randomly. I will change up the size a bit, change up the shape. I did go ahead and speed this up quite a bit. I do take my time when I am creating these tags or my watercolor projects. But you can see here the different shapes that I do. On all of the flowers, I end up taking one shade darker or another color that looks really well with it. And I will create little like C shapes within that flower, and it gives the illusion of petals, I think, kind of. You can also kind of just shade around the edges. That's another thing that I do. And I change it up without or between all of the different flowers. I'm making these little blue spiky looking things. I honestly don't really know what they're supposed to be. I just like how they look with the flowers. Then I'm going to go ahead and make some orangish yellow flowers, and then I add some leaves to a few of the different flowers. And I'm just gonna repeat this and kind of play around with the different shapes and see what I like. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and I made a few more tags just with different random little flowers. And now we are going to do our gold foiling two different ways, the way that I normally do it, and then I wanted to try out these pens as well. So let's start out with the way that I know is good. I'm going to take my embossing powder and I'm actually going to just sprinkle some in my little coffee filter here, just about that much. Then we're going to take our embossing ink or the Versamark Watermark stamp pad, and I am simply going to take the edges and just stamp them in like so. And if you can see, I'm actually trying to press this in a bit so that I can get that sticky ink up a bit on the edges there. And you can go as high up as you want. I want mine to be pretty visible. You can even just take this and like stamp it down in there, if you can see what I'm saying, so that that edge just gets the sticky ink. And then you're basically just going to dip that in, and sometimes I'll dip it in to see if I have as much as I want, and then I'm gonna go back in. I try not to like double dip, but I just did a little bit. So we'll finish this side up, and then I'm gonna go over here. I'm just going to do the 3 edges, and then we can heat this up. And then we'll try the pen in just a moment. I just want to know if it works just as well. While that's heating up, I'm going to take this pen and I'll go ahead and get this little guy inked up. And so this pen is going to be kind of more for if you want to like do some brush lettering or like little areas, but why not try it on the edges here and see if it's just as easy. Let's see. Okay, I mean, definitely works. So my heating gun takes a bit to heat up there, so I figured we would just get this one ready and then we can heat them both, and then we'll have pretty gold edges, and then you can finish the tags off with your ribbon. Once again, I'm going to speed through the boring steps here. This took a while to heat these up. I'm using a heat gun that is like my husband's tool. I forget what it's called. It's like, oh, I totally forget. It's a heating gun, but it gets really, really hot. And that's what I use for my embossing. It works. And my camera is just going in and out of focus here, but we are embossing those edges. This is the first one that I used my watermark ink, and then this is the second one that I used the pen for. And real quick, while I'm doing this voiceover, I am going to film a video for you guys using those pens, and I'm going to do a little review because I've been playing around with different techniques and I really like those pens. Not so much for this project, but for some other projects, so stay tuned for that. I'm all finished with these tags and I really like how they turned out. I love the gold embossing on the edges, so I hope that you guys will give this a try. I wanted to show you, I went ahead and I used that embossing pen to write out the words "Hello Spring," and then I went ahead and embossed it, and I did some watercoloring over that. So I'm excited to play with that pen. If you want to see some more videos with that pen, you know, exclusively, I can definitely do that for you. But yeah, I'm loving how these turned out. I hope that you guys will give this technique a try. And if you do, tag me on Instagram. I love seeing your photos. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.